The rain hammered against the windows of our little cottage in the Cotswolds, mirroring the storm raging inside me. For 20 years, Beatrice and I had built a life here, a life I thought was filled with love and mutual respect. Now, at 46, a landscape architect by trade, I felt like the very foundations of my world were crumbling. It began subtly, almost imperceptibly. Beatrice, usually so warm and affectionate, grew distant. Her laughter, once a constant melody in our home, became rare and strained. She started working late, claiming increased responsibilities at the local library where she volunteered. I, ever the trusting fool, believed her. One evening, I decided to surprise her with dinner at the Wild Thyme, our favorite restaurant in Burford. I called the library to let her know, hoping to catch her before she got too engrossed in her work. A young woman answered, her voice bright and cheerful. "Beatrice isn't here tonight," she said. "She had a meeting in Oxford." Beatrice hadn't mentioned anything about a meeting. A cold knot formed in my stomach, a premonition of something terrible. I thanked the woman and hung up, my mind racing. I tried calling Beatrice's mobile, but it went straight to voicemail. The next few days were a blur of anxiety and suspicion. I found myself scrutinizing her every move, searching for clues. Her phone became an object of intense fascination. She guarded it jealously, always keeping it face down, silencing notifications. I knew something was terribly wrong. The breaking point came on a Saturday. Beatrice had told me she was going to a book club meeting at a friend's house in Stow-on-the-Wold. I decided to do some gardening, hoping to distract myself from the gnawing unease in my heart. As I was pruning the roses, I noticed something glinting in the flower bed, a small silver charm. It was a stylized E, intricately designed. I didn't recognize it. Beatrice didn't wear anything like that. My heart pounded in my chest as I picked it up, the cold metal a stark contrast to the warmth of my hand. I knew with a sickening certainty that it belonged to another woman. A woman named E. That night I couldn't sleep. I tossed and turned, haunted by the image of the charm. Finally, around 3 a.m., I got out of bed and went downstairs. I needed to clear my head to make sense of the chaos swirling within me. I found myself drawn to Beatrice's laptop, which she usually left on the kitchen counter. I knew I shouldn't, but I couldn't resist. I had to know the truth. With trembling hands, I opened it and navigated to her email account. I knew her password, our anniversary date, a password I now realized held no meaning for her. The first email I opened was from someone named Elliot. My blood ran cold as I read the words. "My darling Beatrice, I can't wait to see you on Tuesday. The thought of holding you in my arms again fills me with such longing. I'll be waiting for you at the Trout Inn. Yours always." The world seemed to tilt on its axis. Elliot, the E on the charm. It all clicked into place with devastating clarity. Beatrice was having an affair. With someone named Elliot. I read through more emails, each one a dagger twisting in my heart. They had been seeing each other for months, meeting in secret, sharing intimate moments. The betrayal was so profound, so complete, that I felt like I was suffocating. I learned that Elliot was a local artist, a man Beatrice had met at a charity auction. He was charming, sophisticated, and apparently irresistible to my wife. I spent the rest of the night in a daze, replaying the past few months in my mind, searching for signs I had missed. How could I have been so blind? How could I have been so trusting? The next morning, Beatrice returned from her book club meeting, her face flushed, her eyes bright. She smiled at me, that same smile I had loved for so long, and asked how my day had been. I looked at her, at the woman I had shared my life with, and felt nothing but a cold, burning rage. "I know," I said, my voice barely a whisper. "I know about Elliot." Her face paled. Her eyes widened in shock. What are you talking about?" she stammered. "Don't lie to me, Beatrice," I said, my voice rising. "I read your emails. I know about your affair. I know about Elliot." She burst into tears, collapsing onto a chair. "Oh, Godfrey," she sobbed. "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for it to happen." "You didn't mean for it to happen," I repeated, incredulous. "You spent months betraying me, lying to me, and you didn't mean for it to happen." She tried to explain, to justify her actions. She said she felt neglected, that I was always too busy with my work. She said Elliot made her feel alive, that he understood her in a way I never could, but I wasn't listening. Her words were just empty excuses, hollow justifications for her unforgivable betrayal. The woman I loved, the woman I had trusted with my heart, had shattered it into a million pieces. I told her to leave. I couldn't bear to look at her, to be in the same room with her. I told her to pack her things and get out of my house. She begged me to forgive her, to give her another chance. But I was done. The trust was gone, the love was gone, everything was gone. She left that afternoon, suitcase in hand, tears streaming down her face. I watched her go, feeling nothing but a profound sense of loss and emptiness. The next few weeks were the hardest of my life. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't focus on my work. The cottage, once a sanctuary of love and happiness, now felt like a prison, a constant reminder of my broken dreams. My friends tried to comfort me, to offer words of support, but nothing could fill the void in my heart. I felt like I had lost not just my wife, but my best friend, my soulmate. One evening, my friend Alistair came over. He was a gruff, no-nonsense sort of man, but he had a good heart. He sat me down, poured me a glass of whiskey, and said, "Godfrey, you can't let this destroy you. You're a good man, a talented man. You deserve better than this." His words resonated with me. I knew he was right. I couldn't let Beatrice's betrayal define me. I had to move on, to rebuild my life, to find happiness again. I decided to start by focusing on my work. I threw myself into my landscaping projects, finding solace in the beauty of nature. I spent hours designing gardens, planting flowers, creating new spaces. It was therapeutic, a way to channel my pain into something positive. I also started taking better care of myself. I joined a gym, started eating healthy, and made an effort to socialize with my friends. It wasn't easy, but I was determined to reclaim my life. One day, I received a letter from Beatrice. She said she was living with Elliot in Oxford, that they were happy together. She apologized again for the pain she had caused me, but said she had finally found her true love. I read the letter with a mixture of anger and sadness. I couldn't understand how she could be so callous, so insensitive. But I also realized that I was finally starting to let go. I decided to take a trip to Italy, a place I had always dreamed of visiting. I spent weeks exploring the Tuscan countryside, marveling at the ancient ruins and indulging in the delicious food and wine. It was a transformative experience, a chance to escape my past and embrace the future. When I returned to the Cotswolds, I felt like a different person. I was stronger, more resilient, and more determined than ever to live a happy and fulfilling life. I started dating again, cautiously at first, but eventually I met someone special. Her name was Wilhelmina, and she was everything Beatrice wasn't: honest, kind, and genuinely caring. Wilhelmina was a potter, and her studio was filled with beautiful, handcrafted pieces. She had a warmth and a zest for life that I found incredibly appealing. We connected on a deep level, sharing our hopes, our dreams, and our fears. With Wilhelmina, I felt like I could finally trust again, that I could open my heart without fear of being hurt. She helped me heal the wounds of the past and embrace the possibilities of the future. One sunny afternoon, as we were walking through the gardens of Sudeley Castle, Wilhelmina turned to me and said, "Godfrey, I love you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you." Tears welled up in my eyes. I had never thought I would find love again, but here it was, standing right in front of me. "I love you too, Wilhelmina," I said, my voice choked with emotion. More than words can say. We got married the following spring, in a small, intimate ceremony surrounded by our closest friends and family. The cottage in the Cotswolds, once a symbol of heartbreak and betrayal, was now a haven of love and happiness. Beatrice's betrayal had been a devastating blow, but it had also been a catalyst for change. It had forced me to confront my own vulnerabilities, to rediscover my strength, and to open my heart to new possibilities. I learned that even after the darkest of times, there is always hope for a brighter future, and that true love, like a beautiful garden, can bloom even in the most unexpected places. Years later, I ran into Elliot at a local art gallery. He looked older, more weathered, and there was a sadness in his eyes. He told me that Beatrice had left him, that she had moved to London to pursue a career as a social media influencer. He said he had never truly loved her, that she had just been a fleeting distraction. I felt a pang of sympathy for him, but also a sense of satisfaction. He had gotten what he deserved. He had betrayed a good man, and he had paid the price. As I walked away, I couldn't help but smile. I had found happiness again, a happiness that was deeper and more meaningful than anything I had ever known. And I knew with absolute certainty that I had made the right choice. Beatrice's betrayal had been a tragedy, but it had also been a blessing in disguise. It had led me to Wilhelmina, to a love that was true, honest, and everlasting. The rain has stopped now, and the sun is shining through the clouds, casting a golden glow on the Cotswold Hills. I am sitting in my garden, surrounded by the flowers I love, with Wilhelmina by my side. And I know in my heart that everything is going to be all right. One day, a postcard arrived from a remote island in the Pacific. It was from Beatrice. She wrote that she was working as a yoga instructor and had found inner peace. She apologized again for the pain she had caused and wished me well. I threw it away without a second thought. Some chapters are best left closed forever.